Welcome everyone. Today I have a new guide for Dota auto chess with Savage Gyrocopter Ogres. So let's have a look at the preview of one of my fights and you get to see the power of this build. Now I have been looking at this build for a while and this is the first time I tried it correctly most of the time. And look at the gyrocopter, look how big it is. It has over 6,000 health and it has over close to 1,000 base damage. I'm literally surrounded by monsters and thinking I'm gonna die, but guess what? He blinked and then he finished them off. This is an incredible game that I want to share with you guys and also explain the build, how does it work. So at the very start of the game, when I started to look into this build, we need Gyrocopter to be in the legendary pool. And that is the essential part. Now, most of the time at the start, there isn't anything too major. You can decide to go for a win streak or losing streak. Usually it's easier to get economies with losing streak, but you can be losing out too quickly if opponents are very aggressive, which was happening to this particular game. So, most of the time, I wait for the third round to be picking items, simply because I want to use the tier 2 item to decide the build. But here I kind of undecided whether I want to go with the, I am undecided whether I want to go with the Gyro build and happen to roll into Vanguard. Vanguard is one of the strongest early game items should you have a good tank like Mars. And to follow from that, I start to look for Blink Dagger for Gyro and also a little +5 armor, the bunkers for buckler for the Mars over here, excuse me. And what we do is we basically use Mars as a tank, and should you guys want to see how I arrange for a win streak, you can see the later part of the replays. I'll skip faster a little bit to make the video shorter. So basically, I'm using 2-star Tinker for the most of the damage, Mars for the tank, and the Trolls for a bit of bonus damage. While managing my economy, I was able to find most of random 2-star units and keep becoming aggressive. I know most of the beast units I want are gonna be tier 3 and also tier 4 purple ones, and also I want to get to level 8 and also level 9 as quickly as I can for Gyrocopter. And most of the time we are winning simply because there was one player that AFK'd for a bit and most other players are super greedy with aggressive saving build, which allows me to be more aggressive offensively. You do want to inspect other players to see what the build they're going for. So by the looks of it, they will become extra strong after round 21. But before that, I have a window to build up my economy. And that's what I did. You can see me on the top of the leaderboard, and you can see majority of the players I have selected to lose or have selected to go with a losing streak and also priest. So round 10, nothing too special. Majority of the rounds and also the build comes later. And I am keeping IOs. IO is going to be essential should I find my second gyrocopter for a 2-star gyrocopter. The build requires a lot of randomness, luck, and also crafting. So why is that? Is that we're looking for the savages. We look for 6 savages plus gyrocopter plus 2 ogres. And then we can consider to turn gyrocopter into an ogre. And that's a lot of things to look for, right? Now, it's easy to get the 6 savages. I'll fast forward a little bit because simply I'm having a win streak and with 4 orcs, we're quite strong in early game. Notice that you don't have to build into the build you want to get into the late game until you get there. Units like Anti-Mage and also units like Chen can really help you to be offensive and also defensive. I even gave all my tank items to the Anti-Mage, and with the 4 Oaks, the Anti-Mage is actually a super tank and it deals a lot of damage. And here you can see the damage recap. Anti-Mage easily deals 2000 damage and also survives the whole fight. Now, there isn't anything too special, and over here I did pick the double talent simply because I know I need to go to the late game and also any saving for higher chance of getting gyrocopter and also discounted unit price is going to be amazing. We won't be going for many of the 3-star units, but we can if we want it. So during this time, you can see there's other players that I have been beating simply because I am out leveling them, and also my Vanguard really helps, plus the 4 orcs. Those are really strong early game builds, but they will fall off after round 20, which you'll see. I am keeping the Blink Dagger. I have started to roll for my items that can help me with Gyrocopter. Around this time, I'm thinking, hey, since I'm going with Savages, maybe I can go with the Summons. So I decided to go with the little Summoning Whip. Nothing too major. Now, I did keep some telescopes. because Gyrocopter is also a dwarf, having telescopes will greatly enhance our damage dealt, which will be good, but you gotta see what happens later. Now, game looks pretty smooth. I'm fast forwarding a little bit simply because you can see the opponents, they're not weak players, they're high bishop players, and they know what they're doing. They're literally waiting their timings after round 21. And you might see me as having a win streak, but my units will fall off very soon. They're only 1-star units, most of them. And yes, I did want to mention over here. So around this time, I think I was able to find a gyrocopter. Was I? Yes. So this is a lucky chance to find my first gyrocopter. It is not a game changer, keep in mind, because right now gyrocopter doesn't do much. We don't have 6 savages, and we also don't have the what you call it, the ogre effect. I needed to find 2 ogres, or maybe having the ogre cap the legendary item onto the gyrocopter to make this work. So please be careful, this build needs so much randomness. You need to find a 2-star gyrocopter, you need to find your 6 savages, you need to find the ogre cap or the flag that turns gyrocopter that takes the ogre's energy from the other 2 ogres, which is a purple item. So now what I'll do is I'll show you guys the other item over here. So what I do is I'm going to log on to Dota, and while that's happening, let's keep going on to this because I want to show you guys the flag. That is the item that you can get to 10 Gyro into Ogre, but you need level 10. Now, fortunately, around this time, I have kept winning all the way up to round 20, surprisingly, and I have been checking my relics. So over here, my relic selection and also my unit choices. And firstly, I'm checking whether there's units I can ban to increase my chance of finding Gyrocopter. And turns out, banning 2 demons means there's 2 less legendaries I will be rolling, which is important because second 2-star Gyrocopter versus 1-star is a massive difference. Now, around this time, we're looking for 6 savages, especially around round 15 to round 20. I did not roll much, my goal is to get to level 9 then start rolling. Similar concept, but I have a delayed power spike. Now, I have been super wealthy and also super solid, but then the other players will start to kick in with a massive power spike. In terms of the items of choices, we're looking for anything that can boost Gyrocopter, that can give us more damage, give us more, I guess, survivability. Luckily, I found the Dumbolo, and this really enhanced my gold in a massive sacrifice in terms of health. This is also a double-edged sword, which you'll see very soon. I was able to get to level 9 fast and then dismiss the demons to increase my chance of finding Gyro. So, round 21, if you get to level 9 and also finding your 6 savages, you can stabilize. I'm not saying you'll be very strong, but you just stabilize. Now, around this time, we're looking for 6 savages, 2 stampede, ideally with Magnus, and also tons of summons. I was a little greedy over here, thinking that I can survive the fights and also, I guess, hold on to the fights. And during this time, there was a priest, which was an unpleasant surprise. I did not prepare for the priest. And if you've seen the previous video, yes, the priests are pretty strong, but he's not using my priest build, so he didn't destroy me. He did destroy me though, actually. So yes, we lost the win streak to the priest and lost 14 gold to him. And I am rolling to my savages. Look at my HP right now. I went from about 60 to about 49. And that's gonna get worse. So your weak window is before you find your 6 savages and also before you establish your ways of dealing damage. The ways of dealing damage just coming with the summons alone is not enough. Around this time, I need to start keeping Alchemist, simply because Alchemist plus Ogre plus Gyrocopter can make it work. Now, it is important for me to find the items to share with you guys. Oh gosh, what is the best way to look at the items? So, I want to talk about rarity. No, not this way. So you know what? I'm gonna start a casual game for autochess to show you guys, because I think it's really important to understand items over here. Usually I don't do this, so I'm gonna start a casual game. Oh gosh, okay, good. I can start a casual game, so this way I can go into the game and show you guys what items I make by that. So it is important to find the crucial items to turn Gyrocopter into Ogre, and if you can do so, the game becomes playable for this build. If you cannot do so, well, you are in a world of pain, which you'll see very soon. So Now, at the moment, you think, okay, he's stabilizing, but just keep in mind, this is the enemies, and I want to show you guys how strong they are while the game is loading. So, we're losing at 6 warriors, very soon will be 9 warriors. We just lost the priest. We're also looking at a player that's going for void, which you can see he's got no synergies. We're looking at warriors, we're looking at a human mage, we're looking at goblins, and this player was a player that was AFK, so he's not a threat. But very soon they will all become threat. So here, let me show you guys the item you're looking for. There's 2 choices. You can look for purple items, and by the way, yes, you can start a solo game to check for items. So if you press over here, while the game is loading, so you get to see legendaries, units. So if you press on this button, which is the top, you get to see what units are there, and you can select to ban those units. And if you click here, you can see all the choice of items. In order to make Gyrocopter work, we're looking for the purple item Cloak of the Tyrant. So this item plus 2 ogres on the board with Ogre Major and also with the Alchemist. So 2 ogres, Gyrocopter automatically becomes an ogre, but you need to be level 10 with all your build, or level 9 if you don't want to go Magnus. So this is the cheaper item you're looking for. The more expensive gamble is actually the Ogre Hood. This will turn Gyrocopter into Ogre, and then together with Alchemist, you don't need the Ogre Magi. So this saves 1 unit spot, and it's also less to roll in this section compared to this section. You're gonna see me trying for both of the rollings, and simply because I want to see if I can get lucky. So coming back to the game. Why is it important to look at those 2 items? Is that if you don't find those 2 items, the game will be unplayable for this build after round 25. So let's look. So here I am basically trying to get to 6 Savages. I did not get to 6 Savages. All of a sudden I went from 49 HP to 31, and this is getting scary. I have been building perfect economy. My units are pretty weak actually. I was gonna say they're not bad. They're mostly tier 1, 2 stars and just 1 non-synergies. So I rushed myself into 6 Savages thinking that I can survive with Gyrocopter. And let's have a look at the fights. This is the critical part. You need to get past this one for the build to work. Now, during this time, Savages with 6 Savages, they can debuff enemies to increase their physical damage taken, and this is great. Now, the downside is there are players that's playing Void, which neglects my synergy. They are immune to Savage debuffs, and because of that, it's not great for a Savage build. Now, while looking for items, we're looking for this item if you have a bonus. The Minotaur Horn onto the Magnus will give you an instant stun, especially you have the Stampede. So this is a bonus item that you should look for after finding the Cloak of Tyrant or finding the Ogre Hood. The item that makes Gyro into an ogre. Finding this item, I think, okay, I'm smooth sailing. I have great control, I can stun enemies, I just look for my second Gyrocopter. With IO, I'm set. But funny enough, a lot of players were building things that I wasn't expecting. This is Priest, I believe. Yes, for Priest, I am really lucky that my Venom was able to keep me alive and summon a bunch of things and overwhelm them. But usually, if they control the Gyrocopter 2-star, it's over for me. Luckily, the players were really strong. They took care of the Priest eventually. So, I found a 2-star Magnus with my Minotaur Horn, thinking that it's going to instantly stun after Stampede. I think I'm safe. And usually around this time, you should be okay. But I'm facing 6 warriors, or 9 warriors now. And also we're facing Void, which is immune to Magnus stun. You can see the combo over here. Magnus stuns a bunch of units, then Gyrocopter cleans up. But the downside is, I don't have enough health on Gyrocopter. He's not an ogre, and he's actually getting shredded by the passive of the 9 warriors. This is the weakest part. If you don't find your Gyrocopter, if you don't find your ogre after round 25 to round 30, you're gonna have trouble for this build. Again, lots of warnings, it's an amazing build, but to get it work, it requires so much luck. So, I'm constantly running for my Gyrocopter and planning what to do with my items. Around this time, I can take out of the Magnus. Oh yeah, this is what I want to show you guys. Around this time, I want to take out of the Magnus, put down Ogre Major, and find the Cloak of the Tyrant. So, my plan is to have Magnus stuns everyone and then Gyrocopter help to clean up. But against Void, they get zapped in together, but they're not stunned. And then this means I can't do much to them. I can't debuff them with Savages. So Void is definitely a counter for this build. I am getting destroyed. 11 HP. Remember I was on the top of the leaderboard and now everyone beats me because my synergy is not up. So this build not only requires a lot of luck, it requires some good rolling. So here I'll be rolling for my Cloak of Tyrant. And guess what happened? We did not find it. Now I could go with any of those items and not bad, especially the Butterfly or the BKB is not bad, you know, even Giant Swing is good, but I'm going to roll for the Cloak of Tyrant just because I need the Ogre Major to make it work. And clearly I wasn't lucky. So game gets harder, especially against Void players, and there's 2 Void players with a lot of legendaries. And let's have a look. You can see each time the Savage buff is debuffed onto them, they're instantly removing it, and this makes the game extremely harder. Luckily for me, the second Void player is not as crazy, or I just got lucky with the blink and also everything. And you can see, like even with that, they clear my whole team. So around this time, let's have a look at the enemies. We're facing a Priest build that is not correctly built, but still very powerful against me. We're facing one Void with 2-star Void Knight, with Rogue Knight. We're facing another Void with all the purples. This is the player I lose to. And we're facing 9 Warriors, which I can't deal at all. The Warrior, what is this? The Warrior Assassins is scary because of the Queen of Pain, which can AoE clear most of my minions. Okay. So, knowing that I have been losing non-stop, I am praying for a 2-star Gyrocopter. And thankfully, remember I was level 9 like round 20. So, I found my second Gyrocopter. The IO I prepared at the early game worked, so I found the IO. I have kept the Blink Dagger and also critical crystals for my Gyrocopter, and now it's round 30. What's in my head is I can't wait for the Ogre Major. I can't wait for the Cloak of Tyrant. The next round will make or break my game. So, we fight the units, they drop a bunch of items, which is good because I need them to get to tier 5. And over here, I did make a mistake. The Wheel of Wonder is okay. I'm actually looking for a good synergy that, like, if I can get the, if I can get the dwarves, or if I can get the, ogre, that'll be great. So here, I should have picked the warlock, but eventually I picked the gods, which is not the best idea because I'm not going for gods. I can go with four warlocks, which would be great for lifesteal for Gyro. So that's a mistake. And together is that I know I don't need any gold, that's why I didn't go for gold. I could went for the void. So now, the second mistake is I should have taken most of my items out so that I can reroll this item as quickly as I can. But I did not do that, so I have to survive round 31. Thankfully, the combo works with Magnus. So notice how the normal combo works if this build is effectively not against the void player, which is immune to debuffs. So Magnus charges in with Enchantress, Magnus stuns everyone, and then they get debuffed with most of the Gyro's attacks, and then we shred them. Now 2-star Gyrocopter stops getting disabled, and 2-star Gyrocopter can deal damage. So that was the warriors, we took down the warrior, and that makes me feel a little safer. Of course, we still need to find the items. So during this time, I took all the items out, and perfectly, I just have enough for a tier 5 item. And thank God, I found the Ogre Cap on the first go. Yes, this item is better than anything else for this build. If you find this item, you don't need the Ogre Major, you don't need 2 Ogres, and you just complete your Ogres. Now, I am moving my units in front of the Gyro so he can eat them, take their health, take their base damage, and then become gigantic Gyro. And this is when the build gets really interesting. Now there's a small mistake over here. I did not know that we can't eat Enchantress because she will stampede away. The stampede synergy is prioritized over the Ogre synergy that eats them away. So now with a bit of the basic lifesteal, the Gyrocopter is actually my saving grace. It's not easy though, I'm still losing because we can't debuff the, 1% HP guys. This video wouldn't exist if I died here. I do have the lifesteal, so each time I defeat enemies, I lifesteal a little bit. So against the void, I need higher damage, just raw damage and also ability to survive them. And most of the fights are pretty close and intense. So I still haven't noticed that Enchanters cannot be eaten, but having a Blink Dagger on Gyro is amazing. Together with Crystals, his base damage is critting for 1.2k. This is where the fun begins. And this was what I was hoping to build all this time looking for those items. Yes, they can do the Gyro, but the Gyro have 5 to 6,000 HP. And even though I can't lifesteal, I have so much HP, so much base health, base damage, they can't take it down. This becomes an unsolvable boss for them. Now, during this time, I have two choices. I can either level up, or I can try to get any of the 3 stars. I think I prefer leveling up, just more things to protect the Gyro, and also more things to be eaten. I still haven't realized Enchantress is not getting eaten. But let's have a look at the fights. This is when things gets interesting. This was a Void player I lost before, I believe. And he's got a 2-star spin. But now with Gyro, we're hitting hard. We're hitting very hard here. So we're basically 3-shotting any of the units, and we can lifesteal. We can face tag spin. He doesn't have crits, he doesn't have anything. I mean, he does have blink. So yes, we're the mega raid boss now because of Gyro. And now the build is working. Now, it is still quite intense because I was down to 1% HP. I'll try to slowly recover my HP with lifesteal, and right now I'm just looking at the synergies, the combinations, and what are the things I can do. So, against the Black Dragon, I need to roll any item that gives Gyro higher attack speed or higher damage. None of those is helpful. But Manta Style is actually a massively broken item on this build. Why is that? So, GYROCOPTER have around 6,000 HP, and when you Manta Style, your illusion also gains this amount of HP. Which is crazy. I did find my other IO, so I'm planning to consider going to anything that can go with Lone Druid, like a 3-star Lone Druid or something else. And yes, I noticed Enchantress wasn't getting, eaten by the Gyro. So, having Manta Style and also eating units away means that the GYROCOPTER now have 2 very powerful illusions. Let's have a look. So yes, you saw the struggle. Around round 25 to round 30, I had to find the right gears to make it work. But once it works, even my illusions is a super tank. Illusion is tanking for me at the back, and while Gyro is just going off at the back. There you go. 2-star spin, no match for us, right? And yes, they can stun us, they can do whatever. As long as they're not abusive blading us, we can survive. Slowly lifestealing. And around this time, any 2-star Savages are good. You can go for 3-star Lone Druid or 3-star Enchantress, but that's not really necessary. The goal is to make sure Gyro survives. I have been eyeing this Spiral Prison for a while. I want to roll into something useful. So here's the second mistake I made. I should have went for the Dwarves, so this will give Gyro tremendous damage boost. But in thinking that I have so much health and also damage, I went for Lifesteal, which is also not bad, because enemies also have summons. I won't say this is the biggest mistake, but if you can get Dwarves for boosting damage on your Gyro, more damage is better than more lifesteal. Because if you kill them, you don't need the lifesteal, right? So, let's have a look at the fights. My Gyro have 5% lifesteal from the Warlocks, and now the 15% lifesteal from the Helm of Dominator. Good thing about Helm of Dominator is I got out the Wolfie. This is the fun part. Let me turn up the sound. Look at this. I'm thinking I'm gonna die, right? But the Gyro blinks out of the boat and then finishes them off. That was the epic fight. This Gyro is like divine Gyro. He can play the TI. So, I have to admit I did miss out picking up the Primal Beast. Because Primal Beast is also a Savage and it's also a great disable, I should have picked up the Primal Beast, and here I realized the Primal Beast actually, and also the Lone Druid actually give us more health, and you want more health and also more damage on the Gyro. The Vandal here is out of the room. Of course, if you don't have Primal Beast for the, the legendaries, it's not a big deal. Let's look at the fights. Notice my illusions are massively tanky. They have 6,000 HP illusions. And of course Sven cleaves them. But Sven can't be Gyro. So look at the health of Gyro. Currently Gyro has 6,600 health. And it has around close to 700 base damage to hide the total damage. And Gyro is critting for 1.2k. I love it when he blink out of the boat. He summons illusions, crits for 1.3k. Look at that. Illusion crits for 600. So I thought this time we're pretty much stabilized. You can see other players are also going for 2-star Gyro. That's not a big deal. I could go for 3-star Gyro that will wipe the entire board. I could find Aghanim Scepter onto the Gyro, but you guys saw I don't have the fortune of doing that. The build is pretty much stabilized and don't think there's a great counter against me. Now, in order to counter the Gyro, you can get the Disarm with Heaven's Helpet, you can get the Hex, and you can get Abyssal Blade. Those are the 3 items that can counter the Gyro. So you gotta be a little careful. If they have those items, you look for the Lincoln Sphere. Because you're 1-man raid boss. And no one can beat the Gyro right now. So I'll let the other players take themselves out. You can see that they are quite strong. This is 9 warriors against Void with legendaries. Void with legendaries. So, looking over here, I'm gonna fast forward through the trolls. We're already around 40 by the way. And look at the trolls against Gyro. This is actually super fun. Look at those damage. Purposely put out the volume a little bit. Now, one tip over here. If you don't have any great relics, you can always go for Stolen Vault. This gives gold, and gold is always good. You can use gold to reroll, you can use gold to level up. I often see players picking the magical beans and getting 8 or 7 gold by selling it, instead of picking this magical vault, which is simply a little wasteful. And of course, we're gonna roll for any units that can be great for us. Nothing too fancy, to be honest. I found Arc Warden. I just need more summons on the board. And yeah, let me show you guys. I think I found Lone Druid, and of course I just dumped it in for the 3-star Lone Druid. Put down Arc Warden and actually shot on space. Put down Monkey King, nothing too special. I just need enough units on the board that they don't target the Gyro. Arc Warden is good is that it has decent damage. It also summons additional units from Nim to tank for the Gyro. And there's a massive Gyro. The Arc Warden illusion died instantly. So yes, the build is established after I found Ogre Cap, and then with the correct defensive item, Gyro can become unkillable. Now, you do have to be careful. If enemies are playing Mind Control Priest, you have to make sure that Gyro gets the Gossamer's Cape, the tier 1 item. Otherwise, you get Mind Control, it's over for you. And that was the build. Let me know what you guys think about this build. I won't say this is the strongest meta build, I won't say this is the easiest build. It's a very satisfying build when you make it work, but it's very item and also unit intensive. You need the 2-star Gyro, you need the 6 Savages, you also need the Cloak of the Tyrant or the Ogre Cap to make it work. But once it works, guys, it is satisfying. You can see Gyro basically kills everything, and well, with the right defensive item, he's a raid boss and no one can take down him, right? So loving this build, and I'll be posting more great builds for you guys. And I also have a lot of good builds like the 9 Hunters, 9 Assassins, 9 Warriors, but I want to share the fun builds first, then we'll look into the consistent top 3 rank up builds. What I do now is I'll share the whole replay to you guys to have a look, to see each step of the process. I did make some mistakes because this is a new build testing. And yes, if you can find the sniper at the end, which was what I was trying to do, this will give Gyro even high damage with the dwarves, which is amazing for physical damage. You shouldn't turn your Gyro into a pure damage because your savages actually buff up his physical damage over here.
The Dusk is always ready for a fight.
Try to outsmart me and you'll just end up smarting. Dr. Clinker. Try to outsmart me and you'll just...
No grave for you. Eyes up and shields front.
My spirit returns to flesh.
The Dusk is always ready for a fight.
My suit should keep me comfortable through all of this. Yep. Next blessing.
It's good, it's better, and it's plain old me.
There's a price on all their heads.
No grave for you. Triple kill!
Time for target practice. Like it's not even there.
It changes nothing.
The veiled
Master of beasts.
robot. Yeah, just kidding.
Blood.
My faithful
Juggernaut
join
stands ready.
monster kill.
I bring an end to magic. I owe you one.
The dusk is always ready for a fight.
The trees are not.
I ride with the light. Get your rotors running!
Proper scats.
Enchanted, I'm sure.
Behold my beauty.
Enchanted, I'm sure. I'll just sharpen my spear and I'm ready to go.
The Monkey King.
The self is here.
I, the wolf and nuns.
I bring an end to magic. I bring an end to magic.
A bit of sky from a long way. Forever memories. Dramatic entrance.
Time to shove off.
A wolf in man's clothing.
Your god has a trees are not so good with motion, you know. Have my gratitude.
The honorable Dota Panna. Your service.
Righteous!
Trees are behold the fountain. Evil.
Dramatic entrance. Maybe I should buy some more. None can stand against Sun Wukong. Admire the brawn.
Thanks, brains.
Enchanted, I'm sure.
You have my gratitude.
Prepare for poison.
Time to shove off.
marble. Don't take mine, land. At your service.
Time to show.
Is the self, and the self is self. Trees are not so good with
The Monkey King.